You are listening to the Wi-Fi Ninjas podcast, where we talk about wireless technology. Here are your hosts, Mac Daring and Matt Starling.
Hey everyone, and welcome to the Wi-Fi Ninjas podcast. Matt and Mac here. How are you, Mac?
Super good, thank you. Extremely cool. You?
Yep, very good, thank you. And today in our podcast/videocast, we are going to be revisiting a topic that we have discussed a few times, but we feel like the need to revisit because we have made significant changes and upgrades since the last one. So we are covering what our work from home / podcasting audio and visual setup is like. Because since we last recorded, we've done one, just me and you. We kind of covered one with the Clear to Send guys, and now we're just heading into lockdown 2.0 for the UK. So we're in November, and we have changed significantly even in this short amount of time since our last one. I think March.
It's not only that, right? It's like we've also tested quite a few of microphones. Like I have 5-6 microphones prepared for the podcast right now, so we will be testing them live. So it's not only for working from home, really, because I'm pretty sure that no one will be, or not many people will be buying microphones worth £800 with a very expensive interfaces. So this is actually catering for both. For podcasting group, videocasting group, we'll discuss elements of that. And also you will hear the difference between the condenser mics with some filters built in, condenser mics with no filters. You will hear a cheap podcasting mic, like a pod mic, I think it's called, and a very expensive NTG8 shotgun mics. Also, we will check the audio quality from the phone microphone and the AirPods Pro as well. So we'll see the difference. I don't think we'll be able to show you the difference of the cameras, like a built-in versus what we use, but we'll also focus slightly on
Mac,
that.
how many times after we join a meeting do you get a message straight away from people saying, "Oh, wow, your audio and your video is so good, man. What have you got set up?" And then you have to send to everyone what we've got. Yeah. So this this kind of caters for people because everyone's going to be working from home for the foreseeable, right? It's going to be probably more months where we're at home. So the importance of having good lighting, good camera, good audio is even more important now. So yes, we're going to cover our podcasting setup, but if you can afford it or if you can do similar, then you can also improve your home work setup for your video conferences.
That's true. And just answering a question, because you asked me a question and didn't give me a chance to answer. No one is asking me after the call. People, they're so excited about this quality. They ask me during the call, So that's how it works. Okay, let's crack on without the further ado. Is that what you say in English?
Yes, that is one of the phrases we use.
Perfect. Okay. So let's start with what? With the audio equipment. So we are, by the way, using the same show notes as we've used with Clear to Send podcast. We'll just be adding more real demo tests to the list so we can see and hear the difference. So let's start with the microphone. First of all, which microphone do you use daily?
So for me, I've had multiple challenges when it comes to microphones. And at the moment, what I'm using at the moment is the Blue Yeti X. And with my setup, I've got a 2-meter long desk, but on the sides it has two, it's not got like a standard desk where you could use a clamp to mount because it's got the edge exposed. I've got no exposed edges at the side of my desk, so that presented a challenge to me when I was trying to use a boom arm with my screen and it's getting in the way of the camera. So I tried out many different interfaces and different mics, and in the end I just went back to using the Blue Yeti X, and that's what I'm using at the moment. But the problem with my Yeti is every time we record something, I have Mac moaning at me about the amount of noise that it picks up in the background, and he wants me to upgrade. So just today, I actually bought the Rodecaster Pro, a new microphone, and a boom arm that I'm going to drill into my desk to see if I can get it set up and working purely so I don't have to have Mac moan at me every single time we record an episode. Because at the moment, to try and reduce the noise, this is how I've got my nice microphone mounted on my desk, sitting on top of my AirPods Pro box.
Nice.
To try and reduce the amount of noise it picks up from like keyboard typing or movements or anything on my desk.
Well, you had a better setup before. You were using a different box. I think you were using a box from a Logitech Brio webcam, since you have sent it over to me so my wife can use it at work. You had to revert back to your AirPods box, which is not as thick. So it's not as good.
No, it's not quite as good. But the good thing about this is that I can obviously quite easily move it away from me when I'm not using it, and I plug my headphones directly into the Yeti. So one of the nice things is that you can hear yourself slightly just before it goes to everyone else. So if there's any noise in the background, you can hear it, and then you can kind of try and mitigate that as well.
Absolutely. So that's one of the important things when I record something or even attend a meeting. I like to hear my own voice. I like to know when I'm going too fast, when I'm getting overexcited. If I don't have these headphones on me and I don't listen to my voice, I don't know about it. I don't think about it. And with that, I do. I try not to get too fast.
And another setback for this microphone is this.
Yeah, it picks up everything. I can hear you breathing. I can hear you putting back a cup of your drink on a table, and I can even hear. I think you have a Dyson on like a very low sound level.
No, Dyson's not on. It might be my fan. Might be my fan's my laptop, which I ended up moving to underneath my desk to get it as far away from my microphone as possible, so it doesn't pick it up. But what I was alluding to was the mute button on the microphone. Every time I click it, you can hear it click come through. So not really ideal.
Yeah, so I can hear your noise quite clearly now, and your noise is around like a noise floor from the mic from your environment is like 50 dBs around. From my mic is like 85. So if I stop talking, there is nothing. When you stop talking, there is like a constant white noise in the background. So I will mute myself so you guys can hear that. And you mute yourself, Matt.
Did you really just call me you? Wow. Okay, I'm going to put myself on mute for 5 seconds.
And I am not on mute.
There you go.
Yeah, so you can clearly, I don't know, well, it depends on what you are listening to. Probably in the car, it won't make any difference. But when you are listening at home with a good set of speakers or headphones, then you will clearly hear it. So that's Matt's setup. Currently, I'm using a condenser mic. Matt also has a condenser mic. This is a Rode Broadcaster microphone, amazing quality broadcasting microphone from Rode, connected to my Rodecaster Pro interface. But let's focus on the microphone. Condenser mic, which means that it doesn't require too much gain on the interface. You sound probably better, more colorful using a condenser mic than you would have sounded using a dynamic microphone. Dynamic mics, they use tons of gain, but they don't pick up too much background noise. That's the main thing. Condenser mics, they sound richer, probably better, but they do tend to pick up tons of background noise, and they also require external power source, a phantom power of 12 or 48 volts. So I have this powered from my interface. Okay, so normally the condenser mic, like Matt Yeti, it would pick up quite a lot of noise. I don't have that noise because I have a built-in noise filtering features directly into my microphone. This is a hardware features of the mic. I have high-pass filter built in, and also I have software filters built into the Rodecaster Pro. So not only I don't have noise from my mic because it's a very high-quality mic, but also it doesn't pick up noise from the background, fans, nothing. Everything is cut. You can't hear anything. I can have my son shouting outdoors in front of my office. You won't hear that on that mic, even though this is a condenser mic. So for bad environments with crap acoustic features of your room, this mic will still be amazing, while Yeti will be really bad. When you have, I have like
just going back to what you said about the gain, and with my Yeti, I literally have it turned down to like the most minimum gain. So you adjust the gain by the little knob on the actual Yeti, and I have it set on like level 1 of 2 out of 20. So I have to have it turned down really low, and even that, with the gain down so low, it picks up a lot of background noise.
Yes, yeah. So that's the thing. But with Yeti, you can't see Matt's Yeti in the field of his camera, which means that it picks up his voice very nicely. It's on a low gain, but it also picks up quite a lot of noise. I have to eat up this mic. So Broadcaster mic from Rode, it's one of the best sounded rounded mics for the human voice on the market. They are amazing, but you have to eat it up for this proximity effect. If you want to sound as rich and deep and nice, then you have to eat it up. So now I'm eating it up and it sounds amazing. But when I just move a few inches away from the microphone, it doesn't sound as deep anymore, right? And if I continue moving farther away from the mic while adjusting gain, so my voice is on the same level-ish, it's still a right-ish, but it's not as good. I will move it outside of the field of the camera view, and adjust gain. And this is how a broadcaster sounds without eating it up. What do you think, Matt? Is it still doable? Is it good? This outside of the camera view, it's like around that far away from my mouth.
Yeah, so the problem is that we've just had the luxury of hearing it nice and close to your mouth, so it sounds very good, very deep voice. When you move it away, obviously compared to that, it doesn't sound as good at all. But if you were just using that, it's not too bad. It does still sound okay.
Yeah, okay, good. So this is like a condenser mics versus the dynamic mics. Since we are here, let's just discuss all the mics that I have quickly and see how they sound really. I think that's a good place to do so. So this is a broadcaster mic. It's around, I don't know, 300 or 400 pounds. It's quite an expensive microphone. It requires a good quality interface, good quality cables to sound as it sounds. So this is connected to Rodecaster Pro interface with all the bells and whistles built in. It has, all the compressing stuff done, noise gate done, high pass filter done, oral exciter, deep bottom done on the Rode itself, so it sounds better. I will show you quickly what is the difference between using the Rodecaster Pro and using a standard normal audio interface that doesn't have all these bells and whistles built in. So this is my sound. Matt, if you could please go on mute because your noise kills me.
I was on mute the whole time.
I don't believe you. Maybe it's okay. So this is your microphone is on mute. How about noise from your computer? Can you go on mute on Skype and see if that makes any difference? Okay, I can still hear the noise, so it's not you.
Wow, finally, it's not my fault. That's the first time ever.
Okay, so I am using all the processing, and this is how my voice sounds. And now I will be disabling all the processing now. And this is how my voice sounds without any processing from a Rodecaster Pro. So I'm not trying to get my voice deeper than it really is. It's just the artificial processing from a good interface. That's what makes my voice sound better than it really does. And now the processing is back on. So hopefully you can hear the difference in the quality of my voice. I will go on mute on this mic and I will put it farther away from my mouth. And now I will grab a measuring tool to discuss the distance from a shotgun microphone that I have installed in front of me. Bear with me one sec.
And what we can also see in the background there is Max actually installed some nice acoustic. What do you call it? Soundproofing or how?
Yeah, that's acoustic treatment of a room, like
acoustic
a
treatment.
I will discuss that in a sec. So let's focus on the microphones first. It's crazy what I've done here, but actually the next microphone that we are going to test, Rode NT-G8, it's that long. I can't even fit it here. It's that long, okay?
Yeah, and it doesn't really help because the way that we're recording this, you're cut out a bit, so you'd have to go even further back. So
yeah. Okay, so it's very long. It's 70 centimeters long microphone, 68 I think it was. So
you could have just said that without going to all the trouble of going over there and getting it out and then wasting a load of time for our listeners.
Yeah, that is true, actually. So sorry, listeners. I will switch to this microphone now. So now you are listening to my voice in Rode NT-G8 microphone. The funny thing is that this mic, I know that it doesn't sound as good as the Broadcaster for a voice quality. It's more echoey. It picks up quite a lot of background noise. It can even pick up my Dyson at speed level 1. I turned it off, but it could. It's so bad at canceling noise from the background environment. And you might think that shotgun mic, this massive microphone, is designed not to pick up the background noise. And while it's true to the extent when you use it in a motorway, like, you have a reporter standing in front of the motorway and a massive mic on a massive pole recording that, it will pick up the sound of your voice directly from the microphone, from the front of the microphone, while canceling out some background noises so it can clearly exaggerate the speaker's voice. Like, look at that. I'm moving to the side and I'm getting canceled a little bit. I'm like standing up. I'm talking to the side of the microphone and it's not as good. It also has a good proximity effect. So when I do that, okay, when I talk to the microphone like this, it starts to sound like a broadcaster. It's really an amazing quality mic. But the good feature of this microphone
But no one wants to see you that close up.
That's fine. And most of the people, hopefully they will just listen to audio. So that's, I am now 60 centimeters, 23 inches away from the mic, and it still sounds all right-ish. But if I adjust some gain on this mic, I will maintain the volume levels. It's like I'm now, I don't know, more than a meter away from the microphone, and it's still echoey, okay? I don't like it anymore. I think it's too far. So when you're thinking about getting a shotgun mic and installing it far away from you, like, I don't know, like 1 meter away, I think it's too long. So this is like a good distance from the mic. I can go to the left, to the right. It doesn't change anything. I don't have to eat anything up. You can't see this mic. This mic is just outside of the camera view. It's here. And this is 35 centimeters away from my mouth. So I would say 30, 40 centimeters is a good distance for a shotgun mic. So it gives you some, room for movement without affecting sound quality too much. I cannot move to right and left using a broadcaster because this will change anything. So I have to sit still. With this, I can teach a class. I can scribble, on my iPad. So it makes my life easier to do that. Okay. And now I have a track in front of my window, so probably it will pick it up as well. Yeah, so that's a good test of a track. A broadcaster wouldn't pick up anything of that. So that's NTG8, 800 pounds worth microphone. It's by the way, very popular in Hollywood environment, the NTG8. So this is a really good mic. And now we are back to my broadcaster, so you can see the difference between these two mics. What I will do next, I will move to my third microphone. And what I have here is Rode NT1 condenser mic without any bells and whistles. This is just a very basic 1-inch sensor mic, a condenser mic without any filters built in, without anything. It's super known for amazing studio quality. It's one of the best in its class for the price, and I absolutely agree, and I hope that you will agree with me as well. So I will move it a little bit closer to me. I moved to NTG8 so you can hear me without me eating up the broadcaster mic. And now I have NT1 microphone in front of me.
Move back a bit because in this video you can't see it. There we go. Yep.
Okay. I am holding it with my hand so it can pick up some sound. So I will move to that now. Look how the NT1 microphone sounds. Now I'm using NT1 microphone from Rode, and this is how it sounds. I think it does sound amazing, especially for 200 pounds. What do you think, Matt? Do you like the sound of it?
Yeah, it's very good. Sounds almost as good as the broadcaster, not too far off.
No, it's not, but they are similarly priced. It's like 100 pounds less, but this is more suitable. It's not coloring your voice as much as broadcaster, but it's still extremely nice for voice. So for podcasting environments, this is an amazing microphone. And it's also quite good at, reducing the background noise. Because look at that. I'm just
also you've got a shock mount and a pop filter attached, in case people are just audio only.
Yes, but look at that. I'm just rotating the microphone away from my mouth, so I'm talking to the back of the microphone, and I hope that it makes quite a big difference when it comes to it.
Yeah, you can barely hear what you're saying.
Yes, and now I'm getting back to the front of the microphone, and I'm back to the microphone. So this mic is so amazing. I'm not eating it up. I'm like, I don't know, 15 centimeters away from the mic, and it sounds great. So in a typical environment, it would sit like here. So it's not absolutely in front of your camera. It's slightly farther away, and it still sounds, in my opinion, better than NTG8 for 800 pounds, and it's 1/4 of the price. Okay. So I will be using it for piano, for calls with my piano teacher, like a virtual calls. It's amazing for that. You can also use it for guitar and instruments and even for drums, and it's good. You can't use your broadcaster for that. NTG8 also is not suitable for it, but NT1 is, and it's the cheapest. So now I will move it farther away from my mouth while adjusting the level of this microphone. So now it's on 20%, and I'm moving farther away. So you wouldn't have to move it farther away from your mouth than I have now, because now it will be outside of the camera view. You can put it to the left, you can put it to the right. So look, I'm talking directly to the microphone now. Now I'm talking on a diagonal from the microphone, and it still sounds fantastic, I think. I'm talking to the other side of the mic, but still I don't face the mic, but the mic faces me. Okay, so it still works. I'm not sure, Matt, what do you think? This mic, how does it?
How many more names are you going to call me during this podcast? Mike, Mac? How hard is it to get my name right? Come on.
Steven.
John, Alan, Bob.
Yeah, it's all similar.
Come on, Mark. I'm just going to carry on that joke. Mark.
Okay, guys. So this is NT1 mic, and I'm back to my 20% of the level, and now I will turn off the audio processing of this mic so you can see how it really sounds without a Rodecaster Pro interface, which I think is excellent. So now the processing is turned off, and it will sound more flat, more distant, okay, less colorful. So it's still a good quality microphone, but now all the compressing, high pass filter, de-esser, noise gate, oral exciter, big bottom, everything is turned off. And now it's back on. And I think personally that it makes a massive difference, and it makes the £500 worth of an interface Rodecaster Pro worth purchase. Do you agree, Matt? Does it sound better?
Well, I must do since I bought one today.
Yeah, and also look guys, I have 4 microphones connected directly to my interface, so I've used up all the ports for microphones in it, so we can have this demo without me having to change the microphone, change the cable from the microphone to the interface all the time. So that was NT1 mic from Rode, £200. Amazing mic, can't recommend enough. I'm switching back to my NT G8 to discuss another microphone, which I won't demo, but I think it's worth mentioning here. It's Rode NT2000 that Matt has just bought today, so he will be testing it. But what it basically is, it's the same, it should be the same cardioid condenser microphone as my NT1, same quality-ish. The only difference is that it has the same filters built in as I have in my Rode Broadcaster. So hopefully it will not pick up anything. I switch to my broadcaster now. So Matt will be able to use this microphone in his untreated room. So Matt has no acoustic treatment in his room, and you won't be able to pick it up. I was testing my broadcaster before acoustic treatment and after full acoustic treatment of the room, and it makes pretty much no difference. For NTG8 massive shotgun, it makes all the difference in the world. It's still not perfect, but without acoustic treatment, it was dreadful. Okay, I think my phone sounded better than £800 worth of an NTG8 microphone without acoustic treatment. So this is nice. And NT2000 should be very similar to this one. It should sound like NT1 with filters, canceling background noise capabilities that I have in the broadcaster.
So let's just discuss the acoustic treatment that you've done, Mac, because we can see part of it in the background behind you and when you went to get the tape measure, but you've also done other areas of the office, haven't you, as well? So just discuss that. Okay,
so what I've started with, it was an empty room with nothing around. Okay, I had just a plasterboard everywhere. I had a TV, I had 2 armchairs and carpets. It's a carpeted floor, a thick carpet, and nothing else. Okay, and I was using happily my broadcaster, and while it worked quite nicely, after I started thinking about what can I do to make my workflow more agile, so I don't have to eat it up without losing the sound quality, I've decided to buy the NTG8, and then I installed it, and I realized that it sounds absolutely awful. So we will be creating with Matt a series of audio-video equipment of short videos where I have demo samples of all these mics from before the audio treatment of the acoustic treatment of the room versus how it sounds after that. I think it's extremely important, since not many people, they will be investing this amount of time and money into acoustic treatment of the room for aesthetics reasons. Matt's project manager, his wife, she probably wouldn't be too pleased with putting 120 foamy panels around his room and some sound diffusers and bass traps. It just looks absolutely different. It doesn't look like a room anymore. It looks like a studio. Okay, where I sit, it's black. Everything is black. I have tons of lights around, but it's still black. I don't find it depressing, but some people do. I like it because I like the studio vibe of my studio, of my room. But it changes the look of it absolutely massively. So I'm not sure if you would like to see that in your house. That is why knowing how the microphone performs before and after treatment might be very useful for most people. So what I have here, I have 120 foamy panels, 30 by 30 centimeters. You can see them behind me there on top of the TV. So this is just like 16 panels there. So try to imagine I have like more than 100 more. Entire space where I'm sitting in the corner of the room here. I'm sitting in the corner for best audio quality. Is covered with panels. And I have panels like on the wall on that side of the room. And I have panels on that side of the room as well. So pretty much everywhere where I would expect the sound from my mouth or from my instruments to bounce off, it's covered with panels. On top of it, I have some wood behind me. It's like a wooden panels. Wood is also very good absorbing material for your room. So it's great. I have a wallpaper on top of the wood. It helps a lot. And then I have the sound diffuser behind me. Let me see if you can see it better when I move away from the camera.
Yep.
Okay, so the sound diffuser is like 150 pounds, and I have two more of them on top of me, like just straight above me, and they work great. And also in the corners there is bass traps installed, and the bass traps, they are very similar to the foamy panels. But the foamy panels, really, they are not designed to absorb all frequencies. You have some lower frequencies that are being bounced off the corners of your room, and it affects your sound quality quite badly. So if you want to get rid of that, just having foam panels, it probably won't help you with everything. It will help, certainly, but not much. You need to have more dense panels, like a bass traps in the corners of your room as well. And then you can consider your acoustic treatment being slightly better. Now, there are two terms, acoustic treatment and soundproofing of a room. For me, soundproofing was also quite important because I have a small little kid, 1 year old-ish, like 1.5 almost now. And he likes to scream when I'm recording quite a lot. And I have my mom-in-law sometimes here, and I have my wife, and they are all the time at home pretty much. So I hear them, they hear me. Sometimes I teach a class very early in the morning or very late in the evening, or I attend some meetings, or I just want to record something with Mike, sorry. And
yeah, cheers, Mark.
So I've invested in more things here so they don't hear me and I don't hear them too much. I have special gaskets. Is it called a gasket? I think it is. Around my doors. I bought it on Amazon for like, I don't know, 50 pounds-ish. That fills the gaps between the doors and the door frames. So this helped a lot. And I have like a sliding plastic element under my doors, so I don't have any gap between my carpet and the doors, and that was a massive help as well. Also, I bought a massive curtain, a soundproofing curtain from China. It's on its way. I will have it next week. I will install it on the outside of my room because the doors, they are opening the inside, and it's like a magnetic clip, so you can go through it, and when you are gone, it will just clip itself back, so it will soundproof a lot. I was walking around with my microphones, actually measuring where the noise comes from the outside, and I concluded that it doesn't go through the wall, pretty much. It doesn't go through the ceiling or through the floor. Everything goes through my door. So when I seal that out, that should sort out most of the issues of sound leaking through. And that's it from the perspective of soundproofing my room. I spent like £1,500, maybe £2,000 on it. And a very important thing about mounting the panels on the wall, when you use tape, like, two-sided tape, they will fall off. When you use a spray, they will stay there on the wall, but you will ruin your wall. Then when you want to take them off, you take them off with your wall. Okay, so you'll have to retreat your wall fully. What I figured works very well is just having two-sided tape, like the poster tape, which is very cheap on Amazon. Put it like in corners of the panels, and then use small nails, and just nail it down to the wall. They are very small, very tiny, and it's very easy to fix the hole you make by doing it. So it looks good, it sounds good, and it's not that massively expensive. So if you can do it, do it. Okay?
Okay.
Shall we test the fourth microphone, the cheapest one that Rode claims is the best podcasting microphone on the market?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Okay. Proximity effect, as you've seen from the Yeti, is really poor. Okay. So I will be moving now to the fourth mic. I switched to NTG8 now. So that's what we are testing now. We will be testing Rode pod mic. Okay, this is a pod mic, 99 pounds, I think I paid for this microphone. I heard Roel from Clear to Send using it once or twice, and I thought that it sounded good. Then I bought it, I tested it, and I don't like it. Let's see if you like it or not. So I'm putting away my broadcaster, and I will be switching to this dynamic microphone. It's not condenser. This is dynamic microphone that requires tons of gain. So we were testing it with Matt before with audio. What was it? The M audio interface, even with Rode.
Yeah, we tried, I think, 3 different interfaces before I ended up sending it all back.
Yeah, and they were not powerful enough for this mic. So be careful, okay? So now I will be switching to this mic. Okay, so now I'm talking to the pod mic, £100 worth of a mic. I'm not sure if you can hear it as well, but in my headphones from this mic, I can hear like a very high frequency hissing sound. So I don't like it too much. And I'm also eating it up, okay? So I'm on the top of my mic for it to sound fairly acceptable. I am on 38% gain from my interface. And I don't feel I need more when I'm eating it up. So this has a proximity effect as well. It has shock mount built in, so it doesn't sit on a shock mount of any kind. It has it built in, apparently. And it has a pop filter built in as well. So I don't install it. It's extremely good with noise reduction. So when I'm talking to the front of the mic, it doesn't pick up anything from the back. Look at that. So I'm talking about Matt being really stupid guy. Okay, maybe he's not that stupid, but he's good looking. Okay, so now I'm talking to the back of the microphone, and it was canceling pretty much everything. Okay, and now I'm back on the front of the mic, and this is how it sounds from the front. Now I will be moving it farther away from my mouth so we can see. If you don't want this mic to be obscuring your camera view, how well or how bad would it sound when you move it farther away? So I am moving it farther away, and now it sits on the floor. I'm adjusting gain, and the gain is at 42% now. I'm positioning it so I talk directly onto the microphone, and this mic is now 35-40 centimeters away from my mouth, which I think is a good distance for you. You don't want to see the mic in your camera view. I feel like I'm too quiet, even though I've added 5% more of gain. So I will go up all the way to 50, and that should exaggerate the noise from the microphone. So now my sound level should be acceptable. It's loud. My noise gate, I can see it. I can hear it kick in all the time. So when I talk, you can hear the noise from my environment. When I stop talking, there is no noise. It's Matt, okay? Always him. So that's the pod mic. I'm not sure if it's good or bad. So that's the pod mic. And now I'm back to my NT1. The last thing that I wanted to discuss with my NT1, pod mic is attacking me now. Yeah, stay. Is the shock mount and the pop filter. Okay, so I have this is included in a package, by the way. Very good looking, a very low quality shock mount, but it's probably good enough. You have this fancy type of shock mount that is better at absorbing shock. It's not this one. It's good enough though for most guys out there, including me. Okay, so that's it when it comes to the mics. Back to NTG8. Shall we test the sound from a smartphone? Matt, what do you say?
Let's go for it.
Okie doke. I'm muting myself here. And I've unmuted myself on my iPhone. So how does it sound?
It sounds like an iPhone.
Okay, but is it like a very good quality, very bad quality? Is it comparable to the broadcaster, to NT1?
It's not comparable to the broadcaster, obviously, but it's not too bad.
Okay, so this is just the iPhone. Okay, what I will do now, I will use AirPods.
Feedback.
Yeah. Okay. So it picks up the sound from my headphones. Okay. So I've decreased the volume on the mixer now. Okay. I will use AirPods. Okay. Can you hear me?
No, I
AirPods
can't.
Pro.
I can't hear you.
I don't believe you.
Yes, we can hear you with your AirPods Pro.
Okay. Yeah. So how does it sound?
Not very good.
Okay. So that's it. We've had quite a few people getting onto our podcast with AirPods. It's not too bad, I guess. I guess you can understand me, right? Can you?
What was that?
Exactly. Okay, so that's the AirPods.
Wicked. So I feel like we have probably now covered pretty much all of the audio setup that we have for our setups at home, testing different microphones, different setups that you might use when you're joining calls, and just to consider what other people hear you sound like. So let's move on to what cameras we use. Are you back?
I am, of course.
Mm-hmm.
I never left.
So me and Mac both have the same getting feedback again.
How can you be getting feedback from what?
I don't know. Your phone? Skype?
Haven't I disconnected from Skype?
I don't know. But I'm hearing myself.
You're kidding me.
Nope. Oh,
I muted myself on the microphone.
Yeah. So what's changed?
Nothing? Feedback? No feedback?
Something's changed. I'm hearing myself.
I just muted myself for a sec.
Okay.
Did you break something?
No, I haven't touched anything. Now I don't hear feedback.
Okay. So I can hear you. Can you hear me all right?
Yep. I
can hear you perfectly.
And I'm not hearing myself again. Yeah. What did you do?
Okay. Nothing. I just opened and closed my AirPods again. So that was the thing. And I quit the Skype from iPhone completely. Killed it.
So now let's move on to what camera and lens that me and Mac use. We both have the same camera and the same lens. So it's the Fuji Xt4. And we use a special lens that works very, very well, we believe. It's 18mm, 1.4.
Come on, 16mm.
16. Oh, so close. I could have had it up in front of me and known it, but I was just going off the top of my head. So 16mm lens from Fuji. Very, very nice, but you need to have a cam link for this. So we goes in via USB into a cam link into our MacBook Pros. But one thing to consider when you're using a DSLR for your webcam is that you probably need to get a dummy battery. So that's basically a battery that goes into where the normal battery would go, and it's plugged into the main so that your camera can stay on without overheating. And yeah, this is why we have very nice video quality as well. But if you're going to just purely use this for a webcam, it might be a bit of an expensive option. I did have the Logitech Brio beforehand, which was meant to be able to do HD and 4K. The quality I found from it, though, using it wasn't great, and then especially when I was constantly comparing it to what Mac's quality was like when he was doing videos and our videocast and the training videos that we've been doing and stuff, I found that Logitech Brio just wasn't up to the standard that you get from a DSLR. So that's why,
but comparing the price, it's how much is Brio?
So obviously with lockdown, I think prices of webcams all went through the roof. I can't remember exactly how much I paid for it. Maybe $250. Yeah, I think exactly. $250. But I've seen online now that they go up for anything to £400, which is just ludicrous for that.
No, not worth it.
No.
How much are our cameras with dummy batteries, with all the cables, with cam link, just to get the same? That's better quality.
Probably.
The camera is around 1,000. The lens standard price is about 1,000. You can probably buy a camera in a discounted store somewhere for £900. You paid for the lens $850. You get some cash back from that deal. Then the cam link is around another £100. Then some cables, because cam link, this is just a HDMI interface. So it takes the HDMI output from the camera, live output, and it converts it to the USB. That's it. Fuji, theoretically, they have new software. It's Fuji Cam or Webcam or whatever X available.
Doesn't work though, does it? We tried it.
Well, it does. Well, it's on and off. Sometimes it works. Sometimes the conferencing tools, they don't see it. And if they do, for me at least, the quality was absolutely awful
it's not good or reliable. So that's why we just stick with the Camlink 4K. I think from Elgato. Yes. We've got a lot of Elgato stuff in our setup.
They're Elgato, Corsair company. They just do stuff for streamers, right? So they are designed for that. But long story short, our setup for the webcam is around £2,000, okay, and the Logitech Brio is 250. So that's a difference.
But it will be better than your standard inbuilt, probably 720p webcam.
Well, come on, man. Like Brio wasn't that super bad. It's not. Well, it's still one of the best webcams out there, right? Like for a small web, so it's amazing.
For a small webcam, definitely. But when I was just comparing it to the quality of a proper camera, then hard.
Yeah, absolutely. The only thing that I found difficult with Fuji is the focus. So sometimes it goes on and off, and there is nothing I can do, especially in changing light conditions. I've tried all the settings and the focus settings I switched something and I used it for 1 hour or 2 hours, and then I had issues. I've tried all the settings there, and I still had issues. I still have sometimes issues where I go out of focus and I have to put my hand against the lens or something to refocus. I can see Matt's camera sometimes does some pumping, so it goes like front, back, until it settles.
We like a good bit of pumping.
Yes, this is the only negative thing I would say about
the focus setting I found to work well for me, because originally you said to try the autofocus on the eyes, and I found that was making my camera focus very often, so I changed it from being eye detect to face detect, and then that's when I found that the focus was better for me,
less active.
Yes,
actually. Yeah, by the way, the eyes focus and stuff, this is straight from the Fuji website, so that's what they suggest we use for webcams, from our proper cams. Okay, next camera that I'm going to buy most likely will be Fuji Xt4. There are two differences in this camera, main differences. One is the fixed focus, okay, so focus is not a problem anymore. And then the screen, the LCD screen in our Xt3, it doesn't flip all the way to the back, and in Xt4 you can flip it all the way to the back. So I have my studio monitor. I'm just looking at it now. It's just next to my lens. This is my lens. This is my studio monitor here, the center of it. So I can still see the feed from eCam or from a meeting or wherever my camera sees. I can see that. I wouldn't have to have this monitor if the LCD screen was flipping out from the back of the camera, so I can see what the camera sees, and that's a nice feature from the Xt4. Alan Blake is going for Sony Alpha A7, which is probably the best autofocus on the market. I've done some research about this camera, and it's also it looks amazingly good, and it's the same price range as Xt4, really.
So whilst we're on the aspect of visual, we have some lighting in our offices that we use, and I have two of the Elgato key light airs, which are too small. If I move, that's what you can usually see just above me if I move in and out. But I wasn't thinking about being a video streamer, podcaster, videocaster when I was putting in the second bedroom in our apartment, and that's why we've got the full mirrored doors in our wardrobe, so you can see what's going on behind me reflected sometimes in the camera. But I found that the difference of having these two lights on me than my overhead lights makes such a massive difference, and these are also controllable via Wi-Fi, via the app on my MacBook Pro, or you can just put the app on your iPhone, maybe Android as well.
Android as well, man, come on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but who cares about Android?
I still like it.
So I've just turned off my key light airs, and I just have obviously no lights turned on at the moment. You can see the difference now is pretty clear how important it is to have good lighting.
Another thing that I wanted to mention here, Matt has two lights on both sides of his camera, so everything is in the center. His face is in the center, lights from both sides towards the center, so he's equally lit up by the lights. So that's one of the two approaches that you can do it with the key lights. And it's nothing wrong with that approach.
I've just turned one off.
Okay. Just one?
Yeah.
Are they both the same levels? Mm-hmm. Oh, wow, they are. Yeah. Okay, so it makes a massive difference in Matt's setup, I think. I think it looks best when he has two lights in the center. It lights him up quite nicely and consistently. He just looks good in this light. It's, focused on his face. You can see a nice background mirrored. It looks good. It doesn't look boring. It's fine. However, with key lights, it's important to have a light as close to your face as possible for this interview type setups, because if you get the light far away, you will have to make it stronger, and if you use a very strong light, it will look harsh on your face. So it will exaggerate all the imperfections of your face. It will just look pale. It will look bad, okay, if you have a strong light farther away from you. So it's not good. Key light should be close. The bigger the key light is, the better. So the more the less focused the light will be. Like if you have a small source, it's bad. If you have a massive source, it's amazingly good. But we don't have too much space for that, right? So the best key light would be like this umbrella type massive lights set up in your studio. But you need to have some depth, right? So you need to have some space. We don't. So that's why we are using flat lights from Elgato. So Matt has two small lights. I used to have the same setup as well. I was doing some research about how people in the industry, they do it, like in Hollywood interviews and stuff. And Matt's approach is absolutely valid. This is one of the valid interview approaches. The other interview approach, which I'm using, is to have one big light slightly to the side. So you can see that this side of my face is lightened up quite nicely, and I can see quite a lot of shadows on the other side of my face. So I'm not sure what is your preference. Obviously, Matt's face is nicer than mine, but about lights, I'm not sure what is the better approach. I like it to have a light on one side so you can have some more depth on your face. It looks a little bit more dramatic, and that's just how I like it. Now look how it looks if I turn the light off.
Well, so much better. So much better.
Thank you. So let's put it back on. And by the way, Matt, how strong is your light? Because you have two small Elgato Key Light Airs, small ones. I have Elgato Key Light, the bigger one. So mine is exactly twice as big as Matt's light. So I have the same amount of LED lights.
And he's just talking about light here.
Yes.
Missed the joke. Well, I got it set on about 13%, so pretty low power.
1.3.
1.3.
Okay. So I have it on 15% now, this one light. But I have just one light. So you decide which approach you prefer, one to the side or two in the center. No right or wrongs here.
Okay. What else do we want to quickly cover?
Background. I think it's quite important as well. For you, there is nothing you can do. I kind of like your background.
I have a collapsible Elgato green screen.
Yeah, but I don't like green screens. Do you like green screens?
Well, sometimes, if you wanted to professionally, teach or train or do videos and you didn't want to have your background, or you wanted to do some cool, quirky stuff, I think it's nice to have a green screen. I live in a 2-bedroom apartment, so space is quite difficult. I couldn't just get just a standard green screen, so I've got one of the ones that's collapsible. Let me just grab it. Let me see if I can grab it.
Yeah, grab it. I find green screens a little bit artificial. So while you can have some nice, brick on the back side of in your background, it looks quite nice. I find it quite artificial. Not big fan of it. However, if you don't want to talk over the video or over the presentation in form of like a round face or square face, you can use a green screen and you can just use the outline of your face, so it doesn't cover as much of your presentation. So it's a valid use case. Just personally, I don't like that too much. There we go. And it collapsed. Nice. So Matt probably would be able to show us the green screen, how he uses it with an artificial background, if he ever manages to position it right. Okay, so while he is positioning his green screen, let's talk about his green screen, his back. Okay.
And now I'm back.
Okay, yeah, didn't take you too long at all.
Sorry. We can cut that
that's
part
fine.
out. But yeah, it's just collapsible, so it's nice and easy to put up behind me. And I can easily collapse it. So you can just literally just pull it up and then push it down, and you've got a green screen. And it's got its own case that you can put it in, and I can hide it down the side of my desk, and it doesn't take up much space.
Yeah, and by the way, I'm not sure about you guys, but can you see that the contrast between Matt's background and his head is quite crap now? So it's very difficult for me to see the difference between his, ear and hoodie and the green screen. It's quite bad. So green screen, theoretically, it should be lit up from the back. So the background light is as
I would
important
need to
as
turn the light on.
Do you have a light built in there? Okay, that's nice. But it's really a good thing. You can see I have a TV in the back. I have light on that side as well. I have some light, in front of me. That's the key light. But then I have atmospheric light, throughout. I have it everywhere. Behind my screen, on top of the sound diffusing panels. It just is nicer. So now you've just used your
overhead lights, yes, my standard ones. And you can't see it on our Skype call now, but the people watching this video, they'll see now I've got a new funky background.
Okay, cool. So that's a good demo probably of the green screen. So you are using a green screen functionality from Ecamm?
Yes,
or from
Ecamm Live now. I've started to use the green screen setting, and I'm on a beach with some nice moving palm trees flowing away.
How nice. Okay, so we have discussed the background lighting, video cameras, webcams, microphones, condenser versus dynamic, quality over a phone, quality over AirPods. So you should have a feeling now about how it would affect the quality of your meeting. I also have a headset that I won't be bothered to connect it really, but this is a very expensive headset. It's SteelSeries Arctis 7 Pro wireless something. So this is one of the most expensive gaming headsets I've seen on the market. And while the quality is amazing, the comfort of this is amazing, the sound quality is not too bad. It's acceptable for games and movies, I believe. But the quality of this built-in microphone, they call it the clear mic. Okay, they have a marketing term for it, whatever it is. It sounds so bad. I can't exaggerate enough. It's so bad. It's I was attending some meetings over this headset, and my sales guys, they told me, Mark, your audio quality is so bad. Can you switch to a better headset? And guys, I am sitting on a headset, so yeah, it's bad. So don't expect every headset to be good. And normally Sennheisers, they're good. The Platronics, they tend to be good. They are designed for meetings, for human voice. But this, as Arctis SteelSeries is dreadful.
Yeah, and I know that quickly I know you need to finish this up very soon because you've got a meeting coming up, but what I want to cover quickly is a question that I get all the time around my screen. So I have a Dell ultra-wide 49-inch screen, and one of the questions I get a lot is about when I want to share my screen, or when I'm on calls, if I'm trying to share a presentation or do demos or go through something with a customer or with peers, how does it work? So now usually inside of most video conferencing applications, there's an option to share the application rather than the whole screen, because if I do try to share the whole screen, it does become a problem. But what I found recently as well, because I use a MacBook Pro, if I connect my iPad to my MacBook Pro and use Sidecar, I can share stuff on my iPad screen for people and they can see that very well. So a lot of people ask me, is it worth getting the ultra wide 49-inch screen, and do I like it? And I think yes, it's one of the best things I've bought, and I'm very, very happy with it.
I agree totally. Yeah. I don't have space for 49. I'm sitting a little bit closer to the screen than Matt does, so I went for 38 inches ultra wideband curved screen as well. So I think the angle of view from our both screens, based on the distance that we sit far away from the screens, it's similar for me and Matt. And yeah, absolutely game changer in terms of productivity and multitasking. Yeah,
definitely. And just use Magnet to carve up my screen how I'd like it to be carved up via software. So you can have it split into 6, into 3, into half, whatever you like, all with a couple of short keys.
Exactly. Okay. Is there anything else that we wanted to discuss today for the home setup?
I think this will give the guys and girls that are listening a good understanding of what we have and what works well and what might work well for their environment. But of course, if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out, and we're always happy to help and answer, especially around setups, to help anyone out.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, everyone, and we will see you back or hear you back in 2 weeks' time.
Bye-bye.
Bye.